Hey, local election voting. Yes, finally it's here. Now, we had hoped when we started this channel that if we highlighted the councillors that we have in Colchester, that it would encourage more people to vote, because last year nearly 70% of people in Colchester did not bother. Now, on many levels that's completely understandable. But in reality, I suspect this channel is far too small because we've only been going a few months and we've only got 8,000 subscribers. So that probably hasn't reached as many people as we would like. But maybe by this time next year, we'll have a big enough audience that more and more people will get to know their councillors well. So the Gazette have a great article on what's going on, who you've got to vote for and how it's made up. So I will link to this in the video description. We've got some councillors stepping down. It's a shame that Lib Dem councillors Lynn Barton and Michelle Burrows have stepped down because we were quite impressed with them in some of the meetings that we watched. But there we go. Here's what you've got on offer. Now, interestingly, some of these names we already know at Colchester Council Watch, but what we hadn't realised is that they are potential candidates. Bevan Waghorn, he's done a couple of speeches at some of the meetings we've gone to at the full council. He absolutely ripped into them over finances. And also, you may remember, he was the one that had some rather awkward questions for the leader of the council, Councillor King.
We are all familiar with the old adage that charity begins at home. While in the case of Community 360, this seems to have been taken quite literally. As we are all aware, the leader of the council was a trustee at the charity during an important time when it seems there were some strange decisions taking place.
So we should have been a bit more on the ball here at Council Watch and have realised that that wasn't just members of the public coming out to say something. So we should have researched them a little bit better because, yes, the Green candidate as well, we've seen him at environmental and sustainability panel meetings. So from now on, when people stand out, we really must check to see if they're potential candidates having a test run at speaking out at the council. If the Conservatives want this guy to be elected, they really do need to do a better job of their website. I've been trying to find out more about him, and he's not on here. I mean, this is just one of the worst websites I've ever seen. It's really not helpful for finding out more about your councillors or potential councillors. He's got the ones that are already elected, but what about the new lot? I've managed to find him on his Facebook page, but it doesn't really tell you a great deal about him. Had I not seen him at the council giving some particularly hard-hitting speeches, he would have been meaningless. So why are they not pushing more? I mean, if you want to get people voted for, you do need to at least get to know who that person is. But a bit of credit where credit is due. At least Colchester's blue team seems to be self-aware enough to know just how bad the blue team is in general. Let's see if the Greens have done any better with their candidate. Yes, here we go. Introducing their new candidate. At least they have a page for him, but again, he's not speaking. So unless you'd seen him speak at the Environment and Sustainability panel, you're not going to know anything about him. So the political parties are relying on you voting for a specific party rather than the person. Now, if I wasn't late for an airport run, I would dig out a clip of Kemmore talking at the Environment and Sustainability panel. And I'd try and find some of their Lib Dem candidates as well, but I'm afraid I don't have time, so you'll have to try and find them yourselves if you'd like to know what he's like. So anyway, as I said, I will link to this and you can try and find out a bit about who you're voting for, and good luck with that. As bad as the blue team has been for promoting their candidates, the red team have been absolutely shooting theirs in the foot with producing leaflets that are inaccurate. So inaccurate, Councillor Goss has ended up reporting them to the police for misrepresentation. Yes, the fraud office has been called because of the inaccuracies in their leaflet, saying people are further away than they are. And as Councillor Goss points out, it's not always possible to get a candidate who lives right inside the ward, but we try and match our candidates to the nearest ward. This year, none of the candidates in Shrub End live in the boundary. So the Lib Dem candidate, Mark Arnold, lives no more than 0.6 miles from the boundary, but in its leaflet, Labour has used a yellow arrow to suggest Mr Arnold lives 3.2 miles away. The Green Party have confirmed that their candidate lives a lot closer than advertised by Labour. An email from a detective constable in the Essex Police Fraud Triage Team, seen by the Gazette, says Labour has been asked to cease distribution of the leaflets as the mileage is not factually accurate. Now, this really does not help their candidates at all. And I feel particularly sorry for Steph Nissen because she has had a leaflet pulled already because of how it was put together by the Labour group. Colchester Views on Twitter found this leaflet to be particularly misleading, just to have a small edge of green around to show the defection from the green team to the red team. But anyway, according to the newspaper, Councillor Nissen herself pulled the leaflet. I didn't see it before it went out. I don't believe anyone set out to mislead, but how it has been received is the key thing. I felt it could potentially be misinterpreted. The Electoral Commission doesn't say it is an illegal graft, but it doesn't sit right with me. So she got it pulled. Unfortunately, I think she might have been better leaving it alone because the next one was even worse. So this was going to be a very interesting experiment to see if having a hard-working councillor was more important to residents than which team they are on, because historically Castle Ward has never had the red team as the winner. So because Councillor Nissen was voted in the green team, and then switched after a year or so, and I'm not going to get into all the reasons why she switched because that would take far too much time to research all the facts, and then I'd have to hear from both sides. So I'm going to leave that well alone. But needless to say, she had very good reasons. So now her own party has shot her in the foot with yet another bad leaflet. That really isn't helpful, because the councillors don't actually get to write their own leaflets, which I think they really should insist that if they can't at least write it, that they at least get to read it beforehand. So this situation has just gone from bad to worse. And now it's no longer a fair test of whether people are prepared to vote for someone who really does know that she is there to serve.
With regards to your comment about the council's obligation to the public, yes it is. No debate, no discussion on that point. We're here to serve the public.
So if she does get voted back in, it will be a true testament to having residents appreciate having a councillor that really does work hard on their behalf. So all eyes are going to be on Castle Ward tomorrow night. And the memes and jokes are already going. But it's possible the fraud officers have found the Colchester Labour leaflet designer already, judging by this meme. Anyway, and one of our Council Watch favourites, Councillor Lee Scordis, is having a pop at the Lib Dems. One can certainly see why Councillor Patricia Moore referred to them all as Muppets during election season. If you haven't seen that video, do look out for Cockeyed Code of Conduct to get the full story on that one. Anyway, they all seem to be having their handbags out, swinging at each other over who one should vote for. Councillor Lee Scordis from the Red Team has a pop at Mark Corey by saying, I suggest you read your own leaflets when it comes to attacks on your so-called partners. You're literally telling people not to vote Labour in a ward with a Labour councillor. And then the Orange Team, Sam McCarthy, joins in saying, Hi Lee, I just wondered who okayed the Castle leaflet. Or the one in Shrub End suggesting Lynn Barton has endorsed your candidate, a candidate none of us have seen, let alone met. It's all a bit desperate from Labour. Your attacks on social media are tiring too. Oh no, we love his attacks on social media. They're thoroughly entertaining. It's like watching a small child throw its rattle out the pram on a daily basis. Anyway, this stream goes on and on and on and on, so I'll link to it. You can knock yourselves out reading this. Watch this space. Will any of the new candidates get elected when their own parties really aren't pushing who they are particularly well from what we've seen? Will Councillor Laws be voted back in so that he can do his climate emergency scrutiny panel? I've reminded him of this point, incidentally. So lots of intrigue. And of course, let's not forget Matthew Randolph's bid to become the Police Crime Commissioner in Gloucestershire. Now, he did another interview with the BBC, and I've been holding off doing that video till I get my hands on it, but it looks like I'm just going to have to do the video regardless, because there's a technical glitch with the audio recording. They can't actually get it to me to do. But anyway, I will still do a roundup video on that so at least you know what's going on. And also there is an excellent video that Not on the Beeb have put together. If you know anyone in the Gloucester area, please share it. Also, Thetford had their rip-roaring meeting and they have videoed it about the climate emergency and what the general public think about it, so I will link to that below as well. So, a lot happening at the moment. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.